Hi, I'm Wayne Smith with Corona Del Mar Properties, and welcome to the first edition on getting on the Wayne train and how things used to be here in Corona Del Mar. Today we have a fantastic guest, and I'm very proud and honored to have Mrs. Pat Bradley here with us. She's a longtime resident for many years.
Well, my grandmother left me the property, and I used to come down here. I went to high school in Santa Ana. I graduated in 1945, and I used to come down here by bus down Newport Boulevard.
So that was the only high school was in Santa Ana?
Right. I didn't live in Corona Del Mar. I lived in Santa Ana.
Okay.
And I came down Newport Boulevard by bus to visit my grandmother. She was here in Corona Del Mar then. And I wasn't much interested in it here. I used to walk down to China Cove. I always liked China Cove. And then I went away to college. And then I came home, and she passed away in 1951, and she left the property to me. And they were all little cottages, little houses on a 30-foot lot. And then later on, she sold the 2 lots to Marines in World War II. A lot of Marines lived here. They were stationed at El Toro. And they built those 2 little houses on those 2 lots. She sold it to them. And then she and her husband started to build their house. And it was finished in 1944, I think.
And that house is still here?
Yes, yeah. It's very well built. And at that time, they built little houses on the back of the lot. I think it was because of the war was on, they couldn't get building materials. So they if you notice, a lot of the old houses have a unit on the back, and they call them granny units. So they built a granny unit on the back of the lot, and they lived there until the war was over. And then you couldn't get building materials during World War II. So they lived in that little back house, like everyone else did. And then they built their front house that they lived in. It was very quiet here. I think you'd see maybe 10 cars go down Coast Highway, not like it is now.
10 cars in one day?
One day, right. It was very quiet here. There was one gas station down on Jamboree, and it was just real quiet. And then between here and Laguna, which is now Pelican Hill, that was a cattle ranch. You used to see cattle out there all the time.
Wow. Things have changed, haven't they?
They sure have. I know. It's almost, instead of a village, it's a big city now.
You like how it's transpired from a little town with 10 cars going by in one day to how it is now?
Well, I was young then, so I found it kind of boring because I was going away to college. And I thought, oh, it's so quiet down here. And there was such an elderly population. There weren't a lot of young people. There were all older, retired people. I fit in now because I'm retired. But in those days, I didn't want to be here because there just weren't any young people around here. It was all retired people.
How did you entertain yourself back then? Was there anywhere like restaurants or?
Well, I used to go down to China Cove. I loved China Cove. And that's about it.
Was there a dancing hall with that Pablo Pavilion?
Well, there probably was, but I never went over there. And sometimes Mrs. Chef's Inn here on the corner of Mark Reed. There's a big restaurant there now. I don't know what they call it.
Banderas?
Banderas. It was called the Chef's Inn. And then the Crown, what do they call them on the corner?
5 Crowns?
5 Crowns. That was called the Hurley Bell. Yeah, and we used to go there quite a bit. They came about the same time we did. And it was it was a nice place, but it was mostly all retired elderly people. I don't know how it is now.
It's a mix of a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
It's a beautiful town.
Yeah, they have beautiful houses now. We didn't have these big houses. We just had the little ones, you know.
Real simple.
Right, there was no Fashion Island that hadn't been built yet. And,
You remember when that came into play?
oh yeah, I remember when they built Fashion
Tell me a
Island.
little bit about that.
Well, they had a Boy Scout jamboree out there, I remember that.
They came from everywhere, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they had then they built Fashion Island. And I don't know much about Fashion Island, but I remember when they built it. But what was so interesting was there was so much open space between here and Laguna. And it was so pretty and so quiet. There was no Pelican Hill. What's the name of that town up there? I forgot.
Newport Coast?
Newport Coast.
So that was just a big cattle ranch.
Right, you'd see cattle out there all the time. It was very quiet and very pretty.
So it's the only road to get there was Newport Boulevard and Jamboree?
Well, the Jamboree hadn't gone through yet. So you had to come down Newport Boulevard. And then you came down here, and the Coast Highway was closed between here and Laguna. You couldn't.
That's really amazing that so your aunt bought the 5 properties.
So my grandmother.
Grandmother.
Uh-huh.
And her father said, why are you buying?
My dad, my dad. Well, people didn't live down here much. It wasn't populated. It was where you went when you retired. And nobody came here much. And everything was up in Santa Ana and Riverside. People lived up there. And then they would buy a little home down here for the summer. And then they'd come in the summer and then board it up in the winter. And my dad thought it was funny. She was buying a bunch of sand.
Bunch of sand for $1,000.
Right, 5 lots, 30-foot lots. She bought 5 of them for $1,000. From a realtor right here where you are. I remember him, but I don't remember his name. And then the Marines were here because World War II was on. And they built those 2 little houses. She sold it to them and they built those 2 little houses. And then when the war was over, they left.
Your father had a car dealership in Riverside, didn't he?
Well, no, he didn't own it. He had a building and the Packard Motor people rented it. But he had an accounting practice in Santa Ana. And I grew up in Santa Ana.
So is there anyone that we would know that you went to high school with in Santa Ana?
Oh, boy. I haven't been to a reunion. They quit having them. I'm too old now. They quit the reunions. Well, the only one I know, but I don't think they live there anymore.
Who'd you go to the prom with?
Huh?
Who did you go to your high school prom with?
With Harold Segerstrom Jr.
You did. Was that an experience?
Yes, it was. My corsage was, I think I told you, a sprig of holly.
Spring of Holly.
They were saving money because they were holding land. You know, the Segerstroms were.
I think they've done pretty well with holding the land.
Of course they did. They did very well, but they were very tight.
Yeah.
They didn't spend money on corsages.
So how did he manage to give you a corsage?
But we went to the prom, and his mother went out into her backyard, and maybe I shouldn't be telling this. And she cut a sprig of holly off a bush and pinned it on my dress.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah. Then we went to the prom, and everybody had orchids and gardenias, and I had a sprig of holly. But that was all right. I didn't mind, you know. And they're all gone now. Harold passed away at 65. His wife is gone. And they're not here anymore. But they were holding a lot of land out of there in Fountain Valley.
That was the outskirts.
Right. Yeah, Santa Ana was quite a different town then. It was very Anglo-Saxon, Protestant white. And there were bankers and lawyers and doctors, you know, and they had a beautiful department store called Rankin's there. It was very nice. And they had Main Street, and they had a lot of nice businesses on Main Street. It was a nice town to grow up in. I don't know what it's like now, but,
It's all grown up.
huh?
It's all grown up.
Right.
If you could rewind the clock, going back to when you came here in the late 1930s, early 1940s, would you have done anything differently?
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's been very enjoyable living here, hasn't it?
Living here,
Yes.
yeah, well, I worked for Pan American Airways and I was gone. When my step-grandfather had a life estate here, I didn't live here. And I worked for Pan American Airways and I went all over the world and I really loved it. Now I can't go anywhere. But, yeah, I didn't live here then, so I don't know what it was like then. I didn't come here to visit very much. That was during the 60s. And then in 69, I came to live here. And then I built my home on the lot next door. I kept one lot. And everybody tried to get me to sell it, and I wouldn't do it.
Well, you were smart holding on to it.
Yeah, and then I built a house. And I'm retired there now.
Remember Thomas's English Muffins?
Oh, yes.
You want to tell us a little story about that?
Well, I knew the people that owned it. They were Canadian bakers. And they were a big, like Nabisco, but they were in Canada. And then I went on a trip to Europe and I met them and I was in England and I ended up staying with them for 6 months. And they owned in Britain, they owned Fortnum and Masons, and now they own Selfridges. Have you been to Britain? No. Well, Selfridges is a big American store that an American man built, and they bought it recently. And then they bought Thomas's English Muffins, and they have a plant in Placentia, don't they?
Oh, they do.
Yeah. But then, like so many of these big food companies, they buy and sell and buy and sell. And I think they sold it here not too long ago.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I don't know what to tell you.
I'd love hearing how it used to be around here.
Well, it was very quiet, and it was all elderly people. There weren't any young people here. They were all retired. And it was kind of boring in a way. There wasn't a lot to do here except go to the beach, you know. The beach was always wonderful. But there wasn't much entertainment here. There were a few restaurants, and I've forgotten, they had some store here. I remember the lady that ran it. But it was a lovely little village, you know.
To go to the movies, you had to go down to Lido?
Yeah, the Ford Theater wasn't here yet. Right. Yeah, it was, Lido was more advanced than here. It's hard, I can't remember everything.
Well, Mrs. Bradley, we certainly enjoy you sharing your stories and telling us how things used to be. It's really enjoyable. I'm sure the people that will be watching the video will enjoy it as well, as much as I've enjoyed it.
Well, thank you very much.
I want to thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it.